The first question I would like to ask is that what would you say to someone like a creator who is afraid of being vulnerable, like they are not comfortable coming online to show people who they have? So what would you tell the person? Like how to build that courage?
Um, I mean, that's a good one. And I mean, I wouldn't say it's a one size fits all, but in my experience, what it really comes down to is you just gotta, it may sound cliche, but you just gotta put yourself out there. And you probably have to ask yourself, why is it that I'm so afraid of putting myself out there? Is it, and it comes down to a couple of things. You are afraid of being judged by people around you. You are you are insecure with you have feelings of insecurities, and that can be for a number that can be, a number of reasons that may, cause you to feel insecure. And so, tackling kind of like pinpointing what those things are is actually a really good place. And coming back to the first one, if you fear, what people may say about you, at the end of the day, like what got me going is, this thought of if I am if I were to reach the age of 80 plus or 90 plus years and I'm no longer able to really do much, if I look back at my life at that from that point, I wouldn't want to have any regrets that I didn't take a chance at myself and put myself out there more. And it's a crazy thing that having that fear, that fear of just a regret of just not living life and exploring it, to the best of my ability, that's that was a big motivator for me to just get going. And then as for, if you are dealing with some insecurities, maybe with how you look or how you sound, in my opinion, what gets you past that is realizing that the things that you tend to maybe not appreciate so much of yourself are usually going to be the things that attracts people to you and attracts, like your tribe. I mean, there's a saying, Rico, he loves to say, he says, your vibe attracts your tribe. And I wholeheartedly believe in that. And just to give an example from my experience, I, I was never too fond with how I sounded and how I spoke online. And because I had this idea that I needed to be super eloquent and, not talk with any filler words or gaps. And sometimes, sometimes I would take like long pauses. And the funny thing is, when I started talking to people online, they started telling me, like, you know, what I really appreciate talking with you is that you have a way of just making the vibe, the atmosphere just feels super relaxed. People tend to say like they like my accent. And so it's like it at a given point you start wrestling with, hey, this is something that I didn't really like and I thought would hold me back because other people wouldn't like it, but it actually turns out to be the things that draws people the most to you. And so yeah, like, and you gotta just do it over and over and over again until you reach a point where you're telling yourself, okay, I need to get out of my own way because I'm the only one holding myself back from actually just being, super valuable to the people who want me to show up and who want to see me win.
Wow, that was a very deep answer. And I love how you bring the, like your experience, your story, how to bring it into it. not be thinking about your feel about something like that. You show that like our authenticity, we are bringing your authenticity out to share your story, which means that a lot of people will like to relate to it. So wow, that was a very deep answer. Wow, I appreciate that. Hmm.
Yeah.
And now the second question. So I don't want to waste too much time. So the second question is, okay, let's say if someone like me now, let's say they having hearing impairment and they want to start showing up on camera confidently. So what strategies will you give to them to build their camera confidence, showing up on camera, even without like okay, the people understand me, something like that. So what strategies will you give to them?
Well, the advice I would give is the first thing I'd say is to join the Confident Creator Club. No, I'm kidding. Uh,
That's right.
no, no, no. But
No. That's a very good point here because the aim of this video, this interview we are doing is that I'm going to edit it and post it on LinkedIn and Twitter.
okay.
So, like, ask people to watch it and be able to feel connected with and have that to join. So that's my number one purpose of this video.
Okay, yeah, no, I mean that's cool. That's cool. But no, honestly, look, there are a couple of ways that you can go about it, right? You can to start building the courage, if you want to just do it on your own, you can just literally start by setting up a camera, or maybe even before that, you take the voice recording app on your phone and you just start speaking into it. So no video, nothing, no pressure. You just talk. You do that a couple of times and you start listening, back to yourself. And then you can up the ante by turning on the camera, and then you start with your back camera. You start filming yourself, maybe speaking for a minute, speaking for a couple of minutes. And once you do that, then you start reviewing the videos, you start looking at the videos. And in the beginning, you're probably gonna, say things like, oh my gosh, like, is this how I look? Is this how I sound? And what's important there is to understand that it's super normal to think these thoughts, because we are we are honestly our own worst critics. And for whatever reason, we tend to not think so highly of ourselves. But majority of the times, how we see ourselves it's not going to be the same way that someone else sees us. And so doing this practice is all about just getting comfortable, having a camera up and then just speaking to it. And then you can up the ante some more by turning the camera, facing you, and actually watching yourself as you speak. And that way, you continue to analyze like how you're speaking, how you use your gestures, etc., and how you can continue to use your hand gestures and maybe vocal variety to further enhance just your message and just make the way you show up feel a bit more engaging. And then you take it to the next level, and you go on a platform like either Instagram or TikTok. And if you do Instagram, for example, just go on your stories and you just make like a 1 minute video, or post the videos that you made before. Like, post them, because they're going to vanish in 24 hours anyway. And you're going to be accomplishing a couple things by doing that. You're getting stuff out there by hitting publish, and doing it in a way where you're actually speaking. And then, what you're going to realize is, I mean, you may not even get a response. And although some people might think like that's a bad thing, like the great thing about that experience is just that it's going to show you that no one is really going to be too concerned with how you're showing up other than you. Like, you're the only one who is really, cares so much about how you're showing up. And now, adjacent to that, this is like doing it on your own. But like I was saying, like I made a joke and I say join the Confident Creator Club, because it's an area where I've struggled with showing up online when I decided I wanted to enter this space and build my personal brand and just build something meaningful, do something meaningful where, you make an impact. But, joining the Confident Creator Club and, you can speak on this. Like I'm all about helping people, get past certain just limitations that they may be seeing. Um, and the best way to do that is by giving people feedback. And so even if it's just speaking, to a prompt for a few days and getting feedback on that, it's usually a very great place to start because it tends to show you that the things that you worried about are sometimes the things that become your strength. And then, people also highlighting other things on, what you're doing well and what you can do to improve. Like getting that type of feedback is amazing because then you can iterate on that. You can show up the next time and start doubling down on the things that that were told to you that you do very well, and then improving the areas where you could um show up, better. So yeah, there are different routes. There's no right or wrong way to go about it. It's great to do it in a community where you can get support and like other people just like encouraging you to show up more and do more. But it's very possible to just do it on your own. um and in both cases it's all about consistency and just sticking with it on a frequent basis. Like the more reps you do is how you're going to build that confidence. And I think it was Alex Hormozy who said it. He says, confidence comes from competence, and competence is from doing the same thing over and over again and again and again until it just becomes something natural to you.
Um, wow. I like your approach and will even break them down to be even giving them an actionable step to take. I love the way you answer the question. Thank you so much for that. Well, even looking at this now, I think one of the best approach, based on this answer you gave, so one of the best approach to me is joining a community because I think it is one of my biggest achievements this year. Why? Because, like I used to say, if you hasn't sent me a DM on Instagram inviting me to join your community,
Yeah.
even despite me the ability that I'm very impaired, I think I won't be able to have the confidence to come out and tell people that, wow, I'm there and I'm a very impaired person. This is who I am. This is me. Because I kept thinking a lot about this. Wow. So if I didn't have that courage to come out and share my story, um, then let's say years later, and I saw someone like me in the same exact situation who came out fearlessly, wouldn't that be biggest for me? But see, I'm just thankful with that we mess and we're able to make me grow in confidence. We also did allow me to partake in the challenge where I have to upload my first video and start talking. And I'm very happy with the way I'm going confidently to show up on camera and talk like how I am without feeling, okay, you didn't understand me or something like that. So lastly, to my last question.
Wait, can I say something to that? Can I say something to that?
Sure.
Yeah, no, so like I love that because like that's a big thing why that's one of the main reasons why I started the community was because sometimes when you're going at it alone, it's very easy to get wrapped up in your head. And in a community, it's all about having that feeling that you have at least one person that's in your corner. You know, if you have one person that's like literally like cheering you on and hyping you up to say like, yo, you can do this, you got this. Sometimes that's all you need to take the next step forward. There's a saying that says, I can't remember who said it, but it's look at a man as he is and he becomes worse. But if you look at a man for what he could be, then he can take over the world. Something like that, right? And so it's always it's having someone in your corner who constantly sees the potential that you're able to bring that can make all the difference in the world. And like to the second part that you said about the fact that you're showing up will give somebody else who is maybe facing a similar challenge to you to show them the courage that they have within themselves to also do the same thing is where I love to say the way we choose to show up online, we are automatically giving other people permission to do the same thing. And so if someone, just like you said, with your ability, you were feeling a bit insecure of showing up, the next person who is seeing you doing, like having these kind of calls, having these kind of interviews, thinking like, man, if Idris can do this, like, then I can do this too, And if you're talking about purpose, like that can be one of the biggest, the most fulfilling things that you can do with your time on this earth is just having the ability to inspire at least one person to find that confidence within themselves to say like, okay, I'm gonna give myself a shot.
Wow, that's a very deep one there. So I love where you pinpoint that saying. See, that purpose there, that purpose there, that purpose there is a very touching topic. And I think if people if people yeah, maybe like people are taking clarity, something like that. So that purpose there is very powerful thing because when you have a purpose, you know that you can inspire just one person, you leave a everlasting imprint and that person, wow, it's a feeling be that can be boosted by fame or money, right? So that's it. Well, that's it. So thank you so much for your insightful answer.
Of
And
course.
lastly, the question I want to ask lastly now, because I'm going to share this part with, like I said, I'm going to upload this video on LinkedIn. Like, maybe I will cut them into different parts and upload them as a series. So, lastly, the question I would like to ask is that since I came into the community and I started showing up confidently, attending this live session with you, how have you been able to understand what I spoke, whatever I say, whatever I speak? How have you been able to understand that? Because it's like a message to me. Yeah.
I mean, great question. And like first of all, I have to also give you your like I no, I have to give some appreciation to you because if it wasn't for you crossing my path, I would not have, and it may sound like simple and really, I don't know. Yeah, it's just simple, but it was because of you is why I made a decision to just make an investment in Zoom because of the auto caption feature. Because there was another program, another software that I was going to use that didn't have auto captions, and I thought, hey, like I want Idris to feel included inside of the community and just being able to take part if he's able to. And so it was almost like a no-brainer for me to say like, hey, I'm gonna get this software with this feature so that you can be able to, partake. So again, so that's why I want to say first, like, thank you for that. And to answer your question further in terms of how I was able to understand you, in the beginning, it was, as you can imagine, it was a little bit difficult, but that's more so because one, I think you were also nervous to, just to be on video and speaking, with someone like face to face virtually. But two, in the beginning, and I don't know if you remember, when you would show up on camera, you would only have your eyes inside of the view. And that made it a
Yeah,
bit
when they're
difficult.
telling
Yeah, that made it a bit difficult to maybe like read your lip together with the sound that you're making to, pick up on, what you're saying. And and I remember like I gave you that feedback and like that was a big, I think that was like a big piece that definitely helped not only me but helped others who would join the calls to be able to, understand you better. When you spoke. And the fact that you showed up so consistently on these calls, I guess I kind of just got used to just like seeing you speak, knowing how you speak, and the sounds and stuff that like I don't always pick up all of the words, but because I watch your mouth and I understand like the direction that you're going in the context, like I'm able to, put one and one together and like just continue to follow along. And the thing is, what I also realized, the fact that you get more confident in how you're speaking, like you automatically just start articulating better and you start slowing down and speaking clearly, and that just boosts it even more. So yeah, it's I don't know. It's a give and take. Like you improve, you show up, I get better in understanding you, and yeah, it's like upward spiral.
they say it's amazing. Honestly, it's amazing. Yeah, it's amazing. And why I say this is I speak with people like my family. I speak with them a lot. Sometimes they don't used to get what I say very well. Like they ask me to repeat, like, okay, what are you saying? So I think one thing I discovered is that speak I speak faster.
Hmm.
And at times I don't know that. Yeah, I don't know that. I speak faster. So that kind of thing, so that kind of thing doesn't make people to get me clearly. So I'm very happy and I'm appreciative of the feedback you gave me. In fact, it opened my eyes to a lot of things. So now this is going to be, big step forward. Whenever I want to talk, I have to try to make sure not that I talk slowly, but try to talk and pause. You know,
Exactly.
talk and pause. So I will be able to articulate my next line of word like that. Yeah. I appreciate the feedback and it opened my eyes to the thank you so much, man.
Of
That's
course.
it.
And that's what we're here for, right? Like we all have different backgrounds, upbringings, expertise, experiences, and all of that are all of those are, skill sets that we are building over time that helps us to help the next person.
Oh, thank you so much for like bringing up your special time. I know you're busy, so I'm appreciative of that. I'm appreciative of that. So
Of
thank
course.
you so much for coming.